Hello, 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 my beautiful children. Welcome to another edition of the Differently Wired Show, episode 20, the big 20. How's it going, everybody? Sorry if I sound a little bit exhausted. It's been a very productive day. Frustrating, exhausting, but productive. So, all in all, I'm pretty happy. I'll get to what I mean by that in just a second. But first, I want to introduce my co host. As per usual, he is the semi-traitor to Canadian lands because he lives on the border. That's an inside joke. He is John Tucker. John, how's your slightly cheaper coffee tasting?
Oh, slightly cheaper, but good, rich and nutty. And that chocolatey finish, that we all love.
you ever see, well, you ever see Austin Powers 2, John?
No,
Oh,
I didn't, but I
oh,
should.
okay, it's good because there's a particularly gross joke in that regarding coffee. Subsidian, do you know what I'm
Oh,
talking
no.
about?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, we won't go there. But anyways, I introduced Subsidian without giving him the proper introduction. Subsidian from Triple S League. What's going on, dude?
Not it's been busy. As you may have heard, this thing called E3 is coming up here next week, and it's gonna be an exciting week. Week after that, sorry.
Indulge us, guys. I can't contain myself. We're gonna have to talk about video games for the next 60 seconds. So just bear with us.
Mhm.
The reason why I'm exhausted.
Oh,
Come on, John. You were just telling us before the show how you could barely stand tic tac toe. Just or understand it. Anyways, I'm not.
I know. A new version of Monopoly came out, and you just got to talk about it, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
They added a new what is it? A new gray, silver, whatever the thing is. What are they
New
called?
house on Boardwalk.
Fumble.
Thumble. Thank you. Yes. Uh, if I were there, if I had my own token to add a Monopoly, it'd be a burning tire, because Springfield and the big burning tire field. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna talk about video games just for the next 60 seconds. Bear with us. The reason why I'm so exhausted is very much akin to the reason why Subsidian is exhausted. Although he's exhausted in trying to prepare for E3, which is the big gaming convention that happens every year in Los Angeles. The reason why I'm exhausted is for video games, but something completely separate from E3. My boy Hideo Kojima, peace be upon him, the guy who created Metal Gear Solid, he put out a new trailer for his upcoming game called Death Stranding, and since it came out around noon today, I was scrambling for the 5 hours after that trying to put together an explanation video for that. And right now, I'm just completely tuckered out. But because I love you all so much, we are going to push forward for the next hour and talk about stuff that's really, really important, which is mental health and autism. And we brought Subsidian on today also because he felt like he could speak to the topic, and plus we had a lot of fun having him on when he was on May the 1st. So we figured we'd bring him on again. But before we get into the main topic today, I just want to do the usual stuff. Facebook page. I'm seeing people like the page, which I really appreciate. Thank you so much for doing that and leaving us messages. We love receiving them and talk to you regarding questions that you have about the show or questions regarding your own life. And also, Discord server's doing pretty well. Uh, again, I got to update this page because we've gotten a whole lot of more members since then. We're at 370 right now. I think just above that. We're almost at 400, which I'm very proud of. Thank you so much, everybody that's joined there and making the Discord community so productive and friendly and helpful. I love you all. And anyways, with that out of the way, hold on. Do I have the YouTube chat? I just want to see who's in the chat right now. Hey Bubbles, hey Shy Violet, hey Kearney Hussey, hey Hello Metroid, love that name. Silver Moon Raccoon, Russ Hunt, just your, that makes me crack up every time I see it. Just your average doormat. I love that name. All right, with that out of the way, let's get to the main topic. True joy in small things. I wanted to emphasize the true by highlighting in red. Because there's, joy that, you convince yourself is joy, but it's not actually joy. We're talking about the true stuff, the good stuff. John, you were the one that suggested this particular topic to me yesterday when we were figuring out what we wanted to talk about. What is it about this particular subject that you felt was particularly necessary to bring to other people's attention?
Okay, more and more lately, I'm struck with when new clients come on, how they've been frustrated. If you're differently wired, chances are things didn't go exactly the way you wanted when you were very young, when you were not so young, and maybe even right now, you're not treated as well as you ought to be. So you want a different thing. You want big changes. You want nice things to happen. They don't happen. You end up in your basement, hiding away from the world and all this crap because great stuff's not happening. You're frustrated. So I see this over and over and over again. And I'm finding it's more successful, more happy, more productive if you isolate certain things you like to do, and they can be really small things. You don't have to forget your big goal. You can have this great vision of whatever it happens to be, but what you want to do is uh, divide it into little small pieces so you can go ahead and be successful at starting it, at gathering material for it, at identifying it, and so on and so forth. But also, when you're upset, if anxiety, depression, and so on are visiting you, sometimes the big things have to kind of take a back door, and then it's little tiny thing. It's birds chirping, it's flowers, it's a friendly smile. So, in other words, I'm seeing people being happier and more successful when they exploit little opportunities, nice small friendships that are nice small goals, and also, uh, like picking up a piece of garbage successfully is better than failing at some massive big goal that makes you feel frustrated. So it's good to have a vision for the future, but it's nice to appreciate the texture of the actual day that you're in and the moment that you're in and the people that you're with. I know we've all been to gatherings where you're talking to someone. It's a networking sort of event, and you're talking to this person, and they're looking over your shoulder to see if there's somebody more important they should talk to. This is horrible. Makes you feel bad. So small stuff. Pay attention to who you're talking to. Give your attention to who you're talking to. Pay attention to what you're doing. This is mindful. This is a mindful way of going through the world. And when you're mindful about going through the world, it's small steps, small secure steps. Sorry to babble on and on, but I'm seeing so much frustration with big goals that I just thought it would be a good thing to focus our attention on small things.
Hmm.
And also, on top of that, it's
How
it's
can you possibly get on top of that?
No, I can. Come on. We give me. I can manage. I can work it out.
There's a CBC News story today of a lineup of like 300 people to go to the top of Mount Everest, and they're walking over dead bodies of the people who didn't make it. It's like a traffic jam of people getting to the top of Mount Everest. And like 13 people died so far this year trying to get up Mount Everest. I like small things. Me, little hills.
For John, it's a trivia about Everest and
Yeah,
and dead bodies. Apparently, I mean
yeah,
it's your thing. No, I understand what you mean, John. It's fine. No, no. What I
okay.
meant by on top of that is in addition to that, and what I mean.
I know, I'm
Okay,
teasing.
okay. Forgive me. It's the not understanding social cues. But what I mean is that alongside finding small things to be joyful of, sometimes, even though it's sort of annoying sometimes when other people say it to you, it's good to sort of count the good things that are going on in your life and sort of
Hmm.
drive a sense of security from that. For me personally, whenever I happen to have a meltdown, like I was almost on the brink of one today when I was trying to scramble that one particular video together, I had to sort of sit back in my chair and say, okay, look, everything's fine. You're in a heated house. You're going to have a great dinner tonight. And you're going to have tons of people that are going to watch this video once it's up and ready for everybody to see. So just take solace in that. That's one aspect of it. But going back to what you were saying about just finding joy in small things, I do try to do that for myself as well. I can't tell you how happy it makes me if somebody just makes me a cup of tea. Honestly,
Hmm.
that puts
Hmm.
me in the most chill state of mind. It just give me a little bit of milk, a little bit of sugar. I could just sit back in my chair, and then sooner, like over the next 5 minutes, that inner tension, the difficulty breathing, it just melts away. And once you realize, okay, if I can get that one thing that I can focus on, that will take my mind off of all these thoughts and pieces of information that are piling into my head, that's then all the better for you. Subsidian, I don't know if you can sort of point to a couple things from your own life where you have been able to employ that strategy.
I can, and I do want to. So I want to add two quick little side notes here. Is one, it's really cool what you're saying about the tea. Um, I don't know if you know anything about love languages or the way that people receive affection the most, or what their favorite way of receiving affection is. But that has something to kind of do with that. And it's like small gifts can be, as important to some people as like, spending time with somebody else and that kind of thing. So it's good to find out what the people around you, how they speak those languages and how they give those languages and how they want to get, that kind of stuff. And that'll really help in personal relationships, just as a side note. And then as to what John was saying, it's an interesting thing when you look at the Everest thing, because here you have a lot of people who know that they're climbing a mountain in which they have roughly, it's like a 20-30% chance of dying on, especially this time of the year. It's really bad right now, and they literally have to, in some cases, climb over the dead bodies because they don't bring down those bodies. If you die on the mountain, your corpse stays on the mountain until you're turned to dust. Um, and it's curious to me. I've always wondered, people who go there, like, was there nothing else more pressing in your life? A relative that you needed to, make things better with, or some other thing that you needed to do? Was climbing the mountain really the highlight, or was, and I know I'm being a little silly and pretentious
No, not at
at
all, dude.
times,
I completely agree with you. Just like, why? Like, okay, you
but
climb the
yeah.
mountain, but you want to suffer through the trauma of seeing the poor people that didn't get all the way up there? Really? I mean,
Well, that
yeah.
and it's like in some cases, I knew of one fellow who blew everything he had to get to, he dipped into the savings from his spouse, and then he went, and he climbed, and he died on the first day. Just walked straight off a cliff.
Wow.
Didn't see it. It was snow blind. He was snow blind, and he just missed it, and he went down. And it's like, well, great. Now now you have wasted all of that, and maybe it would have been better to just spend some time with your spouse. It's just one of the things that I don't understand, that little thing. But yeah. So at any rate, as far as like small things, you know taking joy in small things can really help keep you sane and balanced, especially when you're autistic and you're struggling with difficult things all the time. It's that those moments that you can take, that you can take a deep breath, get your mindset on something, and find true contentment, and then be happy in the moment. Because when you're happy in the moment, when you're calm in the moment, then it's gonna be that, it's gonna be a little bit more to push you over, to put you into you know an overload or something like that. And it's difficult, and it's rough, and that kind of sucks, to be there. But to get out of it by, taking a moment to center yourself is a really good thing. um when I'm dealing with people in my consulting work, I'm surrounded with a lot of people, not immediately close to me, like in my immediate job, or people that I immediately deal with, that just in the general vicinity of like what we work in. There's some people that I work with that are dangerous, malicious. They do things that are unhealthy. They do things that are arrogant, and they do things that are purely motivated by greed. And I can let this bother me. I can let this just absolutely pile me down, and really like drive me mental, and ruin the rest of my day. Or I could take a moment, take a deep breath, focus on the things that, and the people that are great to me, that are really, really great, that are really close to me, that really make my day 100% better. And it's that ability to like focus on those people and take joy in those things that sets me apart from having to, be absolutely worried and frustrated with people that I know that I couldn't trust, or the people that, maybe I have no interaction with them. They just give my profession a bad name, or, other things like that. And that's especially recently I've had to deal with a lot of that. There's a lot of people out there who just don't know how to do their job right, and it hurts other people when they do their job poorly.
Mm.
And instead of like, and I mean, if you follow my other podcasts, you'll know that I can get quite testy on this kind of stuff. But at the same moment, it's like that's just what I'm reacting to. Most of my day is focusing on the people that are around me, that are helping me in small ways, and those small ways really keep me sane and grounded.
And you really got to do that, especially when you're on YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or social media. Social media is like, I mean, I've often said I would rather have to deal with like putting a cheese grater to my skin than having to go on Twitter for 5 minutes, especially
Yeah.
because of the insane amount of pure hypocrisy. Saw someone, I'm not going to name names or do anything. I don't do that. I saw somebody just recently that was yelling at somebody who was like so far beneath them, saying that this person was destroying their entire life because of something, just an opinion that they held on a generalized, normalized topic, like the equivalent of like, do you dip your Oreos in milk, or do you eat your Oreos and then drink milk? It's like, it's that equivalency. And it's like they're
Whoa,
blowing
whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, I
whoa,
know,
I knew you were
I
going to
know.
do that.
Whoa. Somebody didn't dip their Oreos before they ate them?
Yeah, you eat them, and then as as you have like a piece in your mouth, and you take like a sip of the milk, and then you chew it with it.
Oh, okay. Subsidian.
Some people do that.
Subsidian. After the show, you're going to tell me who did this. All right.
I'm just using it as an example, but still,
It's nice to take joy in small arguments.
yeah, yes. Take joy in small arguments, especially ones that you can win.
Yeah.
Yes, it's obviously, yes, you dip the cookie and then you eat it. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2 + 2 = 4. Ministry of Truth. Anyways, go ahead, Subsidian.
But it really boils down to, and I'm going to talk about Occam's razor a little bit later, but it really boils down to Occam's razor. It's like, assume that somebody who did a slight to you, start off assuming that the slight was not intentional and was not malicious.
Yes.
And you will suddenly find that the majority of your day has gotten better. Because the guy who cut you off in traffic, maybe he's rushing home because his kid's sick, right? And maybe he just needed to get that one extra little turn a little bit faster. Still a little bit annoying, but you know what? You can look over at that other person who's driving, and see the passenger and give them a smile, and maybe they'll smile back at you, and then maybe your day will get generally a little bit better, instead of swearing and honking and unloading a bunch of curse words into random traffic for no apparent reason, other than the fact that you're hot, you're tired, and you're in a traffic jam. It's like those little moments can really help shift the perspective of where you are on every moment of every day.
Yeah, and just by making that choice to not completely lose yourself and make the day of that other person worse, once you reflect on that moment at the end of the day, you can take that as a moment of greater development for yourself. And you can challenge yourself to do more stuff like that in the future. Obviously, you don't want to turn yourself into a pushover, but just finding that right balance and making sure that you're assertive when it's necessary.
Well, teaching yourself to not be a pushover is a pretty interesting thing as well, because so I have a little movie quote, but before I do the movie quote, which everybody's going to know, I'm actually going to quote my book, which nobody knows because it's not out yet. I've been writing a book, and I've been trying to capture the perfect first sentence, right? Because that basically makes or breaks your book in a lot of cases. And it's interesting that John wanted to talk about this, because it was just in the last few weeks here that I've been really going over that, and I've got about 50 first liners. And my current one, which I'm currently sitting at right now, which may or may not change, is contentment in little things makes you happy. Contentment in great times of adversity makes you a hero. So, it's the ability to take the moments and be calm. And I heard another thing that was very, very good this week. Our natural state is kind of a state of confusion and terror, you learn how to be calm. You're not naturally calm. Children and babies are not naturally calm.
Yeah.
They're naturally frightened of everything that's going on around them. They're naturally scared of a dog barking at them, or of being hot or being wet or being tired or being hungry. And it's the ability to learn to be calm and learn to be content that allows you to, not to stop screaming every minute, which, babies have a really hard time doing, and justifiably so, because they've never experienced any of this stuff, and they're just learning this stuff as they go the first time. I don't understand adults who scream at babies, like, not babies that they have that, they've been dealing with for the past, like, 3 months and getting zero sleep. I feel sorry for those people who have that. But it's the people who, they're in a dang lineup at the grocery store for 3 minutes, and a child's crying, and they turn around and they scream at the child, or they scream at the parent. It's like, you have zero contentment in your life. You have as much contentment. You have approximately 2.5 minutes more contentment than that baby has. It's like that's about it. Like, that's the difference, and that difference really helps. So the movie quote will be, I don't know, this is an older one. It's not super old, but it's a little older. It's the Mask of Zorro with Anthony Hopkins and Antonio Banderas. The training regimen that he enters a very small circle, and he learns to master everything in the small circle. And then he expands his little small circle to another larger circle around the smaller circle. And he learns to master everything within that circle. And then he expands that again, and he learns to keep everything in that circle, under control. And as far as how to help people learn how to keep their world content and how to improve themselves, start with the smallest circle that you can, get the best you possibly can get at it, and then start to expand from there. If you're worried about missiles from North Korea, or a bunch of other stuff, but yet your house is a mess and you haven't mowed the lawn in 3 weeks, chances are that if you focused on the little stuff first, you might make your world a little bit better, because at least you can do something about that, where it's really hard to do stuff about missiles in North Korea, because I don't know how many of you are international spies, but the chances of that is pretty low.
Shh, don't tell anybody. Just saying.
So yeah, as another term for, kind of getting back. This is an oldie but a goodie, but get back in the saddle. Like, every time you fall down, every time stuff happens, and we as autistic people, I mean, I still have to deal with an overstimulation, at least once every week or so. It's getting overstimulated to the point where I just can't function.
Yeah.
And it constantly requires me to get back up, take a minute, and then get back up and get back to it. And that is what sets us apart from from being the person who's yelling at the baby in the lineup. It's like, take the few minutes to take a deep breath, and contentment really does offer you a solid foundation for that. It's the core pillar to a foundation in order to do any of that kind of stuff.
I just, while we're on the subject of movie quotes, going back to what you said about the saddle, didn't Rocky say something akin to that, where he's like, it's not about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you get hit, and if you're willing to get back up again. I don't know. That was a terrible Sly Stallone impression. I do better once than that, folks. Trust me. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, because I hate to.
I think you should do Adrian instead.
Adrian. Sorry.
I hate to blame. I hate to to ruin somebody's expectation of life, but life is going to hit you hard, and if you're expecting life to not hit you hard, then that first hit is really going to do one over on you, because it's the people who are not expecting to get shot at that end up developing PTSD. It's the people who are prepared to get shot at that can handle that stuff a whole lot better.
Yeah. That's very true. The PTSD comes about when you encounter something that, like, something terrible that your brain can't process, It's obviously why it happens most often to soldiers. And once you sort of accept that aspect of reality where suffering is omnipresent, you just have to develop a particular attitude to it where you can sort of accept it to an extent. Obviously, not everybody can accept the higher forms of stress that comes along with life suffering. In those times, you need particularly higher forms of intervention. But yeah, once you do that and develop methods for being able to avoid the overstimulation and the stress that comes along with that, then you're set. And small things really play a bigger role than you might expect in that. So, anyways, before we move on to our callers, I just wanted to ask Obsidian, John, if there's anything else you wanted to speak to before we did that.
No.
There's lots I could talk about, but I'm kind of interested in hearing your callers.
Obsidian?
I'd be happy to.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
good.
So, if you guys, well, before we do that, I just wanted to ask if you guys have anything that you want to say to this main topic. Maybe you have some small things for yourself that you retreat to whenever your brain gets overstimulated, or if you've had a particularly bad day and you need to wind down. Please put them in the comment section below, or put them in the live chat. I'm pretty sure that the live chat stays up after we finish the show, and then we list it so that other people can see it. Please do that. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Anyways, with that out of the way, I just want to let you guys know that we are going to be starting the call-in segment. Hold on, can I bring that up? Yes, taking your calls. So how this works, if you want to be a part of the call-in segment where you call in and talk to John and I directly, and in today's case, Obsidian, all you have to do is join our Discord server. And then once you get in there, every Wednesday, we reset this particular chat box in the server called Call-in Sign Up. And then once we do that, we encourage people to put in their names if they want to come on the show and talk to us directly. So with that out of the way, I just want to bring on our first caller, and he's been on here before. You know him as Pile of Sand. Pile of Sand. Pile of Sand says, imitate Homer Simpson again, Max. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Oh no, it just was a joke. I want to say two different things.
Sure.
The first thing is about my college. I have three more weeks to go
Cool.
of college courses of college, and then a few exams. Then I'm done with college. So yeah, that's really great.
Congratulations, dude. What are you studying again?
Mathematics.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So the second thing I want to bring up is has to do with the routines I have in the weekend. So what I do is usually on Saturday I go in my car and I drive for an hour or an hour and a half, and then it really relieves me from the stress of the university. So that's my weekend outlet. And on Sundays, usually, if the weather is nice, I go for a walk to the park. So those things really help. Yeah, like before, they are small things, but they really help.
Yeah, they're important things. I can understand why that is so effective, especially driving, because once you're driving, you don't really. A lot of your senses are engaged. Your hands are on the wheel. That's touch. Your eyes are on the road and focus very clearly on the road. Your ears, there's probably some music that's playing, or maybe your window's open, so you have the sound of everything whizzing by, sort of clouding your mind. And by doing that, it sort of forces you to sort of push away all those other stresses in your life to the wayside for that period of time. And yeah, that's great. It's sort of the same reason why I go to video games, because you have your hands on the controller, your eyes are on the TV, especially if you're playing a particularly competitive game. You got to be aware of everything that's happening. You're listening to the sounds coming out of the TV, so that's good. That's a really good suggestion, dude.
There was one more thing.
Yeah.
So during college, I can get. It happened in the past that I totally shut down. I was totally not ready for a long day of college, and then I just say fuck it all, and I go for a walk to the park in the city I'm studying, or something like that. Or yeah, and yeah, you just need to do that. You just if things, if you want things to happen, but they just can't for at a certain point in your life, then you just have to say fuck it, and you have to
Okay. Just
do something completely else.
Yeah. Just one thing, dude. We try not to swear on this show. I know I sometimes fail at my own rule, but just one thing. But yeah, I understand. Just you're right. One thing that we have to sort of educate ourselves to do is learn how to relinquish. Sorry?
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. No, we appreciate that input, dude, because the suggestions that you gave are really important. Plus, what you said about relinquishing control and realizing how important it is to let go, that is very important. It's actually something that I put in one of my most recent videos called 10 Autism Survival Tips. Number 7 is learn that it's okay to walk away. And because sometimes you're just not okay, to quote an Our Lady Peace song, you gotta just allow your brain to just relinquish control of the situation, so that way you can get back to a clean slate and be able to take on things again. Sorry, I feel like I've sort of stepped over John and Subsidian here. Did you guys want to say anything to what he said?
I'm cool.
I know, but I'm asking, did you? No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm really cool.
Yeah. Okay, John, if you say you're cool, you're suddenly not cool, okay? That's how it works, okay? I'm just saying.
Oh, well, then I'm really not cool at all.
We're nerds. It's okay.
Well, I am currently not cool, as I don't have a proper AC unit in my house. It's a little warm right now.
This is a crazy show. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny because actually at my work yesterday, I can't remember why he said this and what topic we were talking about, but he said, like, once you say that you're awesome, or you say out loud that something is awesome, that thing no longer is awesome. I gotta remember. I gotta ask him what we were talking about. It was a funny discussion, but yeah, Pile Sand, thank you so much for providing that input, dude. I might actually try and employ that myself sometimes, because really sometimes, especially lately when the weather's been getting a little bit better, I've been desperate to get out of the house because being on YouTube and working on YouTube, you spend a lot of your time inside, and sometimes what you need best is just to go outdoors and get a change of scenery, So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we let you go?
Not really.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on, dude. Congratulations on coming to a close with your university. And if you ever want to talk about that, I'd be interested to hear about.
I hope it closes out. Yeah.
Well, you chose a pretty good subject to make money in.
Exactly.
Going forward, so.
Yep.
I hope so.
Unlike the person who just took basket weaving, professional course in basket weaving.
Wait,
probably not going to be worth a lot.
You took a course in basket weaving, Subsidian?
No, I'm
oh, you're just
it's a joke.
Oh, okay.
It's a joke.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. All right.
It's like. Yeah, anyway, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, dude. All right. Thanks
Derrat,
so much.
now I got to change all my education educational plans.
Damn it! You should just, that was a microaggression. All right.
Yeah, I like small baskets, you know.
Hey, I like making my own baskets, okay? Come on. The ones I got at Pottery Barn, the prices are like ridiculous. Okay.
Well,
Anyway.
the thing with baskets and the thing with pottery is that these are skills that you don't need to go to college for. You just go down and start learning it, and you'll get art's its own thing. It's like people who go to train to be an actor are very rarely successful in training to be an actor, versus people who just start to try to become an actor.
Exactly.
Two different things.
Another good line from another good movie that I know John has seen because he quotes it very often. Why would you spend tens of thousands of dollars on a formal education that you could have gotten in late fees at the public library?
Mm-hmm.
What movie is that from, John?
No idea.
Good Will Hunting.
Oh, I only remember one big line from Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. That's beautiful. That means poetry.
But
Anyway, you should let your other guests on now.
All right. Thanks so much, Pilot Stan. Next up, we got the Diamond Clone. Diamond Clone, you are unmuted. What's happening, dog?
Hello, you can call me Marcus.
All right, Marcus, hold on. Let me just bring up the gain on your volume just a bit. All right, what do you want to talk about?
I had like 3 little bits that I wanted to say.
Please.
So, number 1, thank you for what you've done here on YouTube and all that stuff. Like, I felt like I was so alone and all this stuff. And I was stumbling across your YouTube channel actually late last year, excuse me. Earlier this school year. I had graduated. Anyway, thank you so much because it helps me to know that I'm not alone.
Thank you, dude. That's awesome. I'm so glad I could be of help to you. All right, did you just graduate high school? College?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
High school.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to college, so.
All right, right on.
Ooh.
What you going for?
I'm going for software engineering.
Ah, good. Another much more worthwhile subject to major in.
I'm wanting to push into subnetting, which is very math intensive, which I'm really, really good at math.
Good, dude.
Which
Most of us are, actually. I found
Yeah.
most.
I get that all the time, and it's really a phenomenon.
I kind of push to what my strong suit's at, and I enjoy math, so where it won't be a job per se, it'll be a career. So where I just exploited all my strengths, so I could just make life pretty much. I mean, life's gonna be hard. I get that, but like, job-wise, it's gonna be easier for me.
Yeah,
I should say.
that's fantastic, dude. I'm so glad to hear that. Like you coming on here and telling other people, hey, pursuing your passion, you can do it. It's great.
Yeah. Just gotta work at it.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to work. Second thing was like the small things in life. I'm gonna try to stick to the theme to kind of boost the morale.
Thank you.
Anyway, small things in life. Honestly, it doesn't need to be like build a model kit or something like that. Like you said earlier, like somebody cutting you off in traffic. Was it you, Subsidian? It might have been you, Subsidian.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, smiling at somebody, that can make your day so much better. Because I work in drive-thru at a fast food restaurant. It sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It's rough. It honestly is. And just saying, have a wonderful day, or somebody telling you that you're doing fine when you apologize, it's just that much more rewarding. Because making people's days better, and like doing little things like that to make them smile, it's a nice touch. It's a nice add-on to your day, honestly.
Oh god.
And honestly, don't push people away, but like do things that you enjoy, like the little things, like I don't know, video games and stuff like that. Like I do a lot of video games and model kit building. But it's just little things like that. But don't be afraid to bring people into your little hobbies and stuff like that. But don't overwhelm them, like, 'cause you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
Or go ahead. Oh, sorry. I thought Subsidy. Were you about to say something?
Nope. No, I was just agreeing.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to sort of speak to what you just said there about letting people into your hobbies so that they can enjoy them with you. You just said that you're into gaming. Can I just ask, like, what's your favorite game? Like anything you're playing right now?
Oh my gosh, it's a hard subject. I found Tabs, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, and I have been playing the crap out of that, like non-stop.
Wait
And
a
then
minute. Is that the game where it's like you can have like a million people in one army and a million people in another, and then they just duke it out? Am I thinking of the same game?
Red and Blue,
It
and they're
might
kind of
be.
ragdoll-ish. Yeah,
Yeah. Is that the same game?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I know what
And
somebody's
then
talking about for once. Cool. All right, sweet.
and then I play a lot of Unreal Tournament, Star Wars Battlefront. Hey, if you want to play Star Wars Battlefront, hit me up.
Oh, wait. Is that the OG Battlefront or the new
I
one?
have all of them.
All right, right on.
And then I play a lot of Dragon Ball games. I love Dragon Ball.
Cool.
So
I unfortunately that's the one thing I really got to get more into is anime, because I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch YTV. Shout out to all the Canadian viewers who know what that is. And they used,
I met Sugar.
you met Sugar?
She's amazing. She's a fun little ball of energy.
Yeah. Oh,
Still.
she has to be one of the most. This is a deep
quick
cut.
question.
Yeah.
Who's Sugar?
Oh, Sugar.
So
Go ahead.
if you Google Sugar as in SUGA baby, there'll be the song, the original song from like Eminem or whatever it was, or I can't remember who wrote the original, but there's a version of it where Sugar, which is this young lady, she's not too young anymore, but there's this young woman who recorded this track, and she used to do the voice of Sailor Moon's daughter, who was like this tiny little kid, and she used to do that line, which is her lines, and so she's this like hyper tiny little cute girl, like 4 feet tall, tops, I think. So
Yeah.
she makes jokes that she used to, she could fit in people's pockets and stuff like that. So she used to run kind of like between the main cartoons of the shows, the Saturday night or the Saturday morning cartoons. She used to be like one of the characters who would come on and talk and intro like the next episode of the next show was going to be this, and and then she would talk a little bit about this and that, and just generally like basically she was a YouTuber before YouTube was a thing.
Mm.
Oh, so she'd be like the guy, like next time at 3:00 or whatever,
Not actually that way. Like they would actually cut to a studio where these people would like hang out in like a chair or a couch or something like that, and they'd have
Oh,
guests
kind of like
on.
what Toonami has.
Yes.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
exactly.
all right. But like
Now you
Toonami's
get it.
animated. All right.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, one of the first like big voice actresses. I get to meet a lot of voice work talent in the main job that I do on my main channel, and there's some really cool people there. And because it's not a high paying job, and often you do it because you love it, the people are far more real, typically.
Mm.
So,
It just that's always what it seems like. Like the people that do the things that they love. It doesn't need to. You could be like a crap shoveler, and you enjoy shoveling crap, and you could be the most down to earth person. I'm making myself laugh.
That's perfect. The perfect example. Go ahead, dude.
Yeah. So.
I mean, like, more power to you. I just hope that crap shoveling is in the context of like gardening instead of just you just like picking up crap.
I mean,
I know. I'm just joking, dude. I understand what you mean.
it sucks to be a farmer sometimes.
Yeah. Just very quickly in respect to what he said about Sugar. Yeah. If you want to see like one of those overly cute, so cute that you can't bear it, anime characters, but like in real life, that's who Sugar is. Look her up. But yeah, how did we get on that topic? Yeah, you were talking about Dragon Ball Z, and
Yeah.
and I
As long as
remember.
I don't bring up JoJo's, I'll be talking for the next 7 hours.
Yeah, I don't remember much about Dragon Ball Z. I just remember watching it when I was a kid. I can't remember a goddamn thing about it except for the fact that there was a character in the show called Trunks, and he was badass because he had a sword and he could fly. Anyways, but yeah, I'm glad, dude. If you ever want to play like OG Battlefront, that stuff was my jam back in the day. Let me know. I'll hit you up and we can play it.
I'm on my computer like 90% of the time, so I mean, like, hey.
All right.
uh,
Awesome.
um.
Just so you know, I'm not going to hold back, so just
Oh,
watch out.
oh crap. I play mod. I play modded a lot because I like to mod my games because I'm that kind of person. Um. Little advice for everyone that's listening because it's from personal experience.
Hmm.
Don't try to make yourself normal. Make yourself under control. Because I tried to make myself quote unquote normal because I grew up in a really small community, like really small. And since I was different than everyone else, I was not perceived as being okay or being, I guess, kind of worthy. Yes, I don't know. That's what it kind of felt like to me. Anyway, I pushed myself to be normal, and as of recently, I'm starting to break those kind of idiosyncrasies that they shoved me into or tried to get me to shove into, which they did shove me into. And you will lose track of yourself, and you will feel empty on the inside if you try to make yourself normal. So
You're,
just
dude,
be under
you're
control.
you're illustrating my entire life with what you just said there.
Yeah, yeah. It's under control doesn't mean like you can't, I don't know, fiddle with your hands in public. Under control means you're not flailing and hitting people. Like you can do things that you need to do to get yourself under control, and then getting your like little ticks, as I like to call them, under control too. But like you can still do them, but like not to the extent of where it either hurts you or hurts other people.
Hmm.
Because that's what you need to do. You can't just force yourself to be normal. It's impossible. I've
That's
tried it.
that's very, very good stuff. Forcing yourself to be normal is a route to much pain and misery.
I mean, if you're not normal, then if you're normal, your life's boring. I'm not, I'm just gonna say that much. Uh,
You got to be who you are.
yeah, like no, everyone's weird. All right, just accept that. Like everyone's a little weird. And if you try to be normal, your life A is gonna suck, and B it's gonna be boring too.
And hey,
Like,
if you shovel crap for a living, nothing wrong with that. It needs to be
Speaking
done.
of, hey, where's this community? What are you? What country?
I'm in America.
What
Oh,
part, man?
okay.
I'm in the Ohio.
Oh. Have the tornadoes been hitting you there?
Actually, no.
Okay.
So
Good.
Southern Ohio got devastated, like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
then we got the snippets of it, so we had higher winds, and we had this giant tree about the size, like the roots were like the trunk of the tree was the size of a truck, and it tilted over. It was like, oh, spooky. But we had hail about the size of like golf balls coming down.
Good Lord.
It was spooky, and I was working that day. No, okay, so I graduated on Saturday, all right,
Mm.
and I walked down to my work because I graduated and I work in the same town.
Yep.
And not even a minute before I got into work, it started raining, and then right after it started raining, it started hailing. That was nuts.
Yeah, I've never had the fortune or misfortune of seeing golf ball sized hail. I'm glad you're okay, dude. I know a lot of people that live in Ohio, and thankfully all of them live in the northern part, so they haven't been affected.
Yeah, I live in the northern part too. I live in the northeast, so.
All right, right on.
Hey.
Anyways, dude, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all that. Hopefully, we can play some Battlefront 2 in the future. Just send me your Steam name so I can find you and I can add you as a friend, okay?
All right. Anybody on the live stream? Anybody that wants to play anything with me? Hit me up. Yeah, yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'll try to be. I'll try to be okay.
Okay, just yeah, if you want, if make sure you put in like your Steam name in the live chat or in the
I'll,
comments afterwards, okay?
I'll do it right here in the group chat right now.
Okay. All right, perfect. Anyways, thank you so much, Diamond Clone. We got to move on. We have one more caller
Thank you for
before.
having me on.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Thank you for coming on. And we just have one more caller before we have to finish the show. Hold on, let me unmute her. Her name, she goes by the name Flufflebun. Flufflebun, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Uh,
It's a little rainy day over here, so I kind of just took the time and sat in my car.
Right on. I'll sort of do what John asked. Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm from Rhode Island.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Love,
tiny
love Rhode Island.
Yeah, I like it here too. It's unfortunately, yeah, it's just been raining for like a month, and it's just kind of depressing. I kind of miss the sun, but it's gonna go away soon, and then it's gonna be humid. Um,
That's what happens when you live on an island. I know, like going. No, I'm not being sarcastic. I know it sounded that way. Sorry. What I mean is like I have family that lives in England, which is basically, even though it's a country, it's an island, and it rains there all the time. I'm going there periodically throughout my life. I understand.
oh, not to correct you or anything, but Rhode Island's actually a state in the United States.
I know. I know.
Oh,
Sorry,
it's
did
not
I?
an island though.
It's not an island?
under. No, it's right under Massachusetts. It's a little slice of land between Massachusetts and Connecticut. But
Yeah, it's not
it,
actually an island.
it is called the Ocean State, so I guess it's not wrong.
What?
We don't care.
What? So you're telling me for the last 25 years of my life, I thought that Rhode Island was an island, even though it wasn't an island. Why is it called an island if it's not an island?
I have no idea, but I think it was because of Roger Williams. I guess he founded his own paradise.
He did,
And
yeah.
yeah, I think that's why. And then he arrived in Providence, and he found it to be some like holy place, holy land, where everyone could practice free religion. So I guess that's why it's called Rhode Island. But
It's a
there's no
metaphorical.
island.
Okay.
It's a metaphorical island, yeah. No island here, except for Block Island, but that's a different story. We
Well,
do have an island.
Thank you
But
for
yeah,
thank you for educating me that on that Flufflebun. I encourage everybody in the chat right now to just leave a whole bunch of L's because I'll take them. It's fine.
don't worry, I do this all the time and I feel so bad for it. Like, I honestly correct people so many times, and this is one thing that I kind of have a hard time with, just trying not to correct everybody.
It goes
My
with the
mom,
territory, Flufflebun.
Yeah,
People
it's
do that
okay.
all the time.
I
And
know.
it's normal. But you do it so graciously that it's kind of not a problem.
I try. Some people
Yeah,
get
no,
really
it's
offended.
nice.
They're just like, "Oh, you think you're better than me?" And I'm like, "No, I promise you, I'm just trying to, give you some facts before you, I don't know, say it against some other people." Not to say it in a bad way.
It's okay. Like John said, we all do it, and nobody's judging here. Although I
know.
I encourage people to judge me on that one, and it seems like people are taking to it because the messages
Yeah,
per
there you
minute
go.
over the last minute have just skyrocketed with people just leaving L's, so it's fine.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so what did you want to talk about, Flufflebun, aside from
So,
geography?
oh yeah. So basically I've been on this kind of like journey to figuring out who I am. I am not really 100% sure I have AS or anything on the autism spectrum, but I've like, done some tests online, and, talking to your Discord chat has really helped me figure things out, which thank you so much for having that there. It's a really great resource.
Thank you for
Um,
providing that small advertisement there. I appreciate it.
oh, you're welcome. But I feel a little bit more confident that I do now. There's just been so many signs of it during my lifetime, but I've just been like really underinformed about autism in general. I've been told that, I mean, I've literally watched presentations of this in school, and um it just always seemed like such a severe condition that people have made it out to seem, when in reality it's a very invisible kind of condition a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially for girls. I've got to say
yeah,
I've been doing a lot of research into this because I've been writing about an autistic character in a book, and it's a girl, and I've noticed how quickly things will change for the female perspective. If a girl does, like, if she won't look you in your eyes, she's considered, like, aloof or a little flirty, and
yeah,
that's actually a positive. Where for when a guy does it, they're considered odd or standoffish, and
yeah.
suddenly
I've
there's
been
a.
told that too. Like,
Mhm.
during elementary school, I think a group of us were pulled over to the side, and I actually thought I was in trouble, but it was actually some sort of like social counseling. And my mom doesn't know if I have autism, but my younger sister, she has a lot of like autistic traits that I think are much stronger
Mhm.
than mine. But like for me, they pulled me over to the side and they were like teaching a few of us on how to have eye contact, and like we learned how to make like things to fidget with. And I'm like, I'm not really sure why I'm in this group, but I like what they're teaching me. They're teaching me how to be more socially acceptable, I guess. Just making people more comfortable with being around me and communicating with me. Um, but I still always had that little piece of me that didn't really communicate very well with others. Like, whenever I made a joke, it kind of felt like really dry. My sense of humor is very dry, so people either let it fly over their heads because it's like really, uh, there's too many layers to it, or it's something stupid like you can easily make me laugh by like saying pudding or something. Um, so people just found me a little weird to talk to after a while, and I think that's where I kind of started having like friendship issues, and it just got really weird, and I didn't understand why I didn't click with most people. I always felt like I was trying to really be as normal as possible while also being myself. And that was a lot of, yeah, I would struggle with that quite a bit.
Yeah, that's very difficult. Holo is actually in the chat, as it has said something. And same with Elena is pudding. They're both saying pudding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
It
just
works. It works. Everybody, it works.
It works. It works.
I sort
It
of
worked
share.
more when I was a kid. They actually called me Laffy Taffy. I would just laugh at everything. Um,
I sort of share that trait with you there, Flufflebun. I can't hear the word titillate without giggling like a
oh,
schoolgirl.
Me neither.
no, yeah, I'm definitely someone that laughs at odd things. I mean, you make a weird movement or like, I don't know, look a funny way, and I will immediately laugh even though you didn't mean it. And people were just like, "What are you laughing about? Like, are you laughing at me?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 wait, wait, wait! Don't get upset. It's just the way that you expressed yourself that
Mm.
made me laugh. I'm not laughing at you, but I am."
No, I'm not laughing at
Not in
you,
a bad way.
except I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah.
yeah, it's just a really hard thing to talk about because um this is one thing that my boyfriend has actually told me about. He's actually suggested that I might be autistic, but it was only because staying around his family, I kind of had a tough time kind of referring to his mom as a higher, I guess, respect towards me. Um, Basically, I've always had this like idea of like, well, you're a human like I am, so I will respect you with the same respect I give everyone else.
Mhm.
And that didn't really flow over well because you know how people tell you like respect your elders or whatever, right? I had a hard time grasping this concept for a lot of years, and my boyfriend kind of like suggested that to me, like there's some kind of like you're kind of not like understanding something social about that. It's just
Yeah.
like kind of socially unacceptable to um you know talk this certain way to someone that's older than you or whatever. Not that I was intentionally disrespecting him, but it came off that way. So I kind of
I
have that trouble.
yeah. I have a few things to add on this, but John,
Mhm.
it is 8 o'clock. Do you have to leave?
Yes, I do have to take off. I'm really enjoying this conversation. And Flufflebun, I hope you come on the show again.
Oh,
So
thank
I'll
you.
see. Yeah, no, your sense of humor is wonderful.
Oh,
And
thanks.
yeah, the other thing that occurred to me is that you probably can um, you could probably have a conversation with this lady because the way you're talking is quite fair and reasonable. You're showing respect, and maybe they need to learn, a little bit about how you talk and about how you see
Yeah.
the world. So, I think that's fair. And thank you, Max. I will see you next week.
See you next week, sir. Thank you so
Take
much.
Bye.
care. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
And I just want to sort of echo what John just said there as well. One thing that people should take solace in, despite the fact that you're just explaining how you have trouble, you had trouble. I don't know what the deal is right now in understanding certain
Uh-huh.
social conventions, especially when it comes to your elders. What you should, I think, what we all should do is if we encounter a situation like that where somebody's pointing out that you're sort of failing, for lack of a better word, and recognizing these social conventions, you should respond by saying, well, I'm just trying to be honest. And I figure, like, when it comes to presenting myself honestly and not BSing people about who I really am and what I really think of them and showing them respect, that might be something that is valuable compared to most neurotypical people. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's one thing I've been working on is saying it kind of just being a little bit vulnerable with myself and saying, "Well, I'm sorry I didn't understand that. I will try to. I'm just being honest." I
Hmm.
kind of have to practice saying stuff like that because, you know, to everyone else, my point of view is just as equal as everyone else's. But for me, I kind of been struggling with this my whole life. Um, and I never really understood why, but um yeah, I just sorry, my sister just walked out of the house. It kind of distracted me. But yeah, I just needed to practice with that a little bit more. Um
Okay.
Well,
and that's
it's
another, yeah. Uh-huh.
so this is really important because I really I really want to like really get you to listen very closely to this because this is really important. These
Mhm.
types of things they'll always be with you. You'll always be there's and it's what I'm going to end up closing with here in a few minutes, but these are always with you. These are traits that you can learn to mask or to kind of figure out ways to get around, and as a girl, you're going to have you're going to have a lot more success than that with than some of us guys have had, because you are naturally geared to be able to understand people a little bit better, and that really, really does help a lot. Um,
Mhm.
However, don't count yourself out of it. Don't say, "Oh no, I'm sure it'll be fine," because especially here, with this is the mother of your boyfriend, and a sour relationship there. Trust me, as somebody who's gone through it, will do everything in their power to root out or to cause problems down the road. Not everybody
Mhm.
is like that, but a lot of people are, and a lot of people
Right.
are very controlling, and they have a certain perspective, or they have a certain idea of what you should be, or what their kids, or it's not just relationships, it's work, and all kinds of stuff like that. And you will encounter a lot of people who their goal is going to be to tear that down because they don't quite agree. They don't agree 100% with the way that you're behaving or you're acting, and unfortunately that's just
Yeah.
due to them not understanding that. So the more you understand that, and the more you can use that as an upfront way of communicating with that person, will result in a lot more things going on. And kudos to your boyfriend for going out of his way to mention that, because and
Yeah.
that shows a lot of guts on his part, because he's saying something that for some people I know would have been like, you
Crossing the
know
line.
crossing the line, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he
And
kind of was afraid of telling me that kind of thing, but I actually appreciated it because
yes,
I can educate myself and see, well, does that fit me? Does that help me understand myself a little better and see how
hmm
other people are handling that kind of situation?
So autistic people tend to have certain emotions either are set to 100 or they're set to 0,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And or kind of a variation in between. um one of the things that I have that I just do not I don't comprehend is being condescending. I don't understand when
Mhm.
people are doing it to me, and I do not understand when I'm accidentally doing it to other people. And
Oh yeah.
I'll get called out on it a lot. It's like, why are you gonna be condescending to me? And I'm like, I'm not. I'm giving you advice. And
Yeah, that
I
happens to
still
me too.
yes, exactly. And this is what made me realize, trust me, you are very much autistic. You're probably an Aspie, and you should definitely go out of your way to get some testing. And if your sister has a lot of the similar traits, like one of my younger brothers is getting tested right away here, do that, because it's so that you can better understand yourself. We were talking earlier about how
Mhm.
people will go to Mount Everest to quote unquote find themselves and end up dying there. you
Yeah.
know so the search to truly know yourself is a very important one. And this is
Yes.
going to be something that has it's not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to be brought down. I was just talking with somebody today about how some of my worst interactions with people about the autism thing is that I've had people tell me, look, autistics are not normal and they shouldn't exist in society. And I'm like, pretty much
Ooh.
everything invented that you are currently using right now was invented by an
Oh
autistic
yeah.
person.
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
So I
You
would
know how
love to see
obsessed
you
someone has to
in a
be?
hut in the middle of the forest trying to survive on mud and berries. Like,
Oh my
good
gosh.
luck. Good luck with that.
Yeah, you'd have to have a sharp eye and really kind of get yourself involved and hyper focused and
Mhm.
trying to make sure you're going to be okay cuz
Yes.
you never know where you're going to find a blueberry out there. I mean, have you ever tried looking for a blueberry? It's so hard.
It
But
is.
Especially
I'm
when it's
only saying
dark
this
out. No, I'm kidding.
because oh yeah, I'm only saying this because I have a whole patch of raspberries in my backyard that I had no idea about until I really stared at them, and I actually picked them off and ate them, and that was fine. They tasted amazing. But
Nice.
back
Mhm.
on topic, um, yeah, like just things like that, just getting super involved in trying to understand myself. I feel like I've almost been a little bit obsessed in trying to understand autism. I've watched so many videos about it, and yeah, stumbling across this channel has just really helped me understand a whole lot. Just on so many different perspectives and different people on the spectrum that are just speaking out. It helps me understand the diversity that's in there, and maybe I may fit in there in my own kind of way, just like everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that you have probably, like, schools go schools used to force kids who were left-handed to write with the right hand.
Mm.
Mhm.
A very not so long ago, this was forced. And my dad remembers talking about how he was him or somebody else in the school that was left-handed naturally, and the teacher would strike their hand with a ruler, not
Oh
not
yeah.
not with a plastic, with a long, like, wooden
Yeah.
one. Those things were
Wouldn't.
basically
Yeah.
like 2x4s, and they would strike their hand with a ruler whenever they were writing with their left hand to force them to write with the right hand. And it's like, think of all
Mhm.
the wasted time, potential, and energy that went into forcing somebody who's left-handed to write with the right hand. It's like,
Yeah. Instead
you
of
know,
finding the strength and
mhm,
the differences in people, a lot of people just try to correct people to being in quote unquote normal. And I've never really understood that.
mhm,
Like when people withdraw themselves, and they're trapped in their own little space, you wonder if they're trying to work on themselves and, better the skills that they have. That's probably what they're up to, and they'd rather not be disturbed when they're in that moment. I found my mom doing that quite a bit. Like, I'll just like be really super involved in my artwork or like my homework, and she'd just think I'm like just laying down taking a nap or doing nothing. and
Mhm.
she didn't really understand what the heck I was doing in there. But yeah, I get like super involved. I'm actually glad that I'm in college for artwork. Um, yeah, because if that wasn't the case, I probably would be stuck doing something like nursing,
Mm.
which I'm not really quite interested in. I actually made that clear. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
no.
understand. Yeah, like I'm good at math and I'm good at science, but my realm in math and science is more like astrophysics, and I feel like, I want to convey that kind of stuff. Just I'm more strong in artwork.
Mm.
I feel like I tend to draw towards artwork than anything else,
Yeah. Can you
even though I have
imagine?
strengths.
Can,
Yeah.
can you imagine like having autism and being a nurse with all the things
Yeah,
they go
no.
through?
Yeah, all
My
the people
mom even
issues.
knows. Yeah, like I don't do very well in very stressful situations. I actually become very clumsy when, I'm being told, "Oh, do this, do that, do this." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, one at a time." I actually get angry and I start saying, "All right, all right, all right." I'm like screaming like, "One person at a time, please." But people don't understand why I'm so flustered, even though it's kind of like, you know, like it's still contained in one spot, but give me too many directions for that one thing to do, and I'm immediately like frozen. And that's one thing that I actually was really concerned about, because I'm like, okay, you give this task to any kind of other person, and they do fine, but give it to me, and I'm flustered and I'm messing up like crazy because
Yeah.
I don't know how to handle the situation very well.
That's definitely another good sign that you're probably on the spectrum. Before, because of just all that information input into your brain and not being able to handle it, I definitely get that. Just
Oh yeah.
one very quick thing before we let you go. We've
Hmm.
we've actually gone 15 minutes overtime, but we just had such a good time talking to you that we've
Oh my
gone
gosh.
overtime. It's okay.
Oh, I'm so flattered.
It's okay. I just wanted to ask: have you done any testing in regards to whether or not you're on the spectrum, whether it's stuff on the internet or a professional?
I've done a few things on the internet. I think I've done a total of like 3 different tests, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely on the spectrum." But like, professional wise, I went to counseling because my mom was a little bit concerned about my depression.
Okay.
Because yeah, I had a lot of problem with depression and anxiety, and she was really worried that I needed some counseling. But the problem with counseling with me is that I can't open up to these people, and
Yeah.
I end up talking about mundane things rather than what's actually bothering me.
Hmm.
What's my problem in life? And
Very,
I
very
just laughed.
common.
Yeah, it's very
Very
common.
common autistic problem. Yeah.
Yeah, not just
Yeah.
with autism either. I think
Yeah, yeah,
I
in
saw
general.
something on the news the other day that said like 90% of people who have seen like some variation of a therapist or a counselor or a psychiatrist has lied to them. So I
Oh yeah, I
understand.
lied so much to this lady. I felt so bad. I was really pretending like I was healthy one time. I literally had just came out of the car crying because I was just going through so many things, and like I just came back from the mall, so when I extremely get stressed from the mall. Um keep me in there for more than an hour, and I'm overdone. But I just like walked into this place, she noticed I was crying, and she was wondering if I was okay, and I completely lied to her. I think that was the last time I went in there because I knew it wasn't working.
It's because explaining what's going on inside your head was seems at the time so much more difficult than just saying no, I'm okay and just getting on with things.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't help that it was only 15 minutes long every time.
Yeah.
But
Listen,
yeah.
um, Flufflebun, it's been awesome having you. We really encourage you to come on again in the future. You've been a
Oh,
great
thank
guest.
you so much. Yeah, it was a pleasure being on here.
Just before you go, though, I just want to let people. Well, actually, first of all, I'll just do two things. First of all, I just wanted to give a shout out to Lighthouse, who sent in a $9.99 super chat. He or she says, I wanted to send my support for all your help, Max and John. Carry on with the story. Well, thank you so much for sending that in, Light. That's very generous of you. And second of all, while we still have you, Flufflebun, I'm sorry, just because I like to entertain people, I gotta take advantage of the fact that you laugh at weird words and do the following. Here are the names of some really weirdly titled cities: Walla Walla, Keokuk,
Oh.
Cucamonga, Seattle, Regina.
Oh,
Okay. Anyways,
Oh.
that's
Doesn't
actually
sound very good.
it's an actual name of a city here in Canada and Saskatchewan. Trust me.
No way.
Subsidian, back me up here. I am telling the truth.
Yes, no, that's the truth. We also have a city called Moose Jaw.
Yes,
Oh,
that's true too.
Rhode Island has its fair share of weird names like Woonsocket, and these are all like really Indian names, but I find them hilarious. There's also a lake called Wampanoag Changa. It's a really long one.
Don't they
I'll
sell those at
probably send
Disneyland?
that- Oh god, it's like so long. You're going to find it comedic. I think it's something like 26 characters, but yeah.
Nice.
That was great. Thank you for the laugh.
Thank you for coming on. We'd love to have you again. All right.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna have to mute you, and then, well, actually, Subsidian, did you want to say something? I think...
Did you want me to wrap up with the other thing or no?
Oh, with the articles?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's wrap up with that, and then we'll do Dan.
So just very quickly, there was a couple of stories about autism in the news this week. Max can link the articles in the description later, if he wants to, or on his Discord, whichever. So be sure to get on the Discord or subscribe to the show.
I got the images up on the screen for people to see too.
Cool. So the first one was about how more and more people are trying to use bleach to cure autism. This is, of course, either a scam or it's stupidity or it's. I've looked into the research and there's nothing there that warrants it. I'm not a medical practicing doctor, but I have enough knowledge on medicine and enough information on. I'm an analyst. It's what I do, and I can say that there is no link. There is zero link for this, and this is about as stupid as trying to cure rabies with with hot iron. It just doesn't work. So also there was a school in Canada that unfortunately was dealing with autistic kids by putting them in a closet. Now, while I am going through a sensory overload, sometimes finding a closet and sitting in it is helpful. However, from as I understand, this was not a willing behavior by some of these kids. So basically putting kids into a closet and then sealing the door. These are both stories where these things are something that we probably, if you are autistic, you have experienced something on this level many times before, or constantly, or at least once or twice. Being treated horribly, or having people just say, "Hey, if you treat it with this ridiculous name of treatment, or just try to get better." That's my other one, is like, have you tried not being autistic? Yeah. Have you tried not breathing? Because it's about the same comparison.
Have you tried not being gay? Anyways, yeah.
It's that level of stupidity that's really harmful to us as a whole. Whereas another good story that was in the news was a girl was having an overload in a shoe store, and she was having trouble with her new shoes, and she couldn't really feel them, or they weren't feeling like normal shoes, and she had this breakdown. And this young boy who was working in the store, 18 years old, came over, sat down with her, taught her, like, told her how the shoes take a couple of days to conform to her feet, and really helped her through it, and then calmed her down and whatever. This goes to show that all of these stories revolve around the way that we as an autistic community can push back against some of the negative stereotypes, ideas, concepts, and falsities will be to reach out and get involved in the autism community in our local area, and then get involved in the general community at large. And these are things that can really, really help us, each other, people around us, people who are suffering from autism, is to just get more of the good stories out there and help to dismiss more of the bad stories before they become stories. Helping to teach people or to educate people with just sometimes it's just your sometimes it's just you explaining something calmly or just being good at your job, and that's probably the biggest thing that we can take away from that we can do.
I 100% agree with everything that you just said, Subsidian. The thing that gets me is the fact that we have to explain to people why they shouldn't drink bleach.
This is a very unfortunate thing because it's like this was a meme meant to like hurt people a while ago, and yet there's people who still and I seriously I did look at the facts and the data on it, and they're just they just fall there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. You can cure allergies with a shot of histamine in some cases, only temporarily, and that's something that people balk at. So I'm not by no way or form am I like a pharmacist toting person. But what I'm saying is I've looked at the data and I can't find anything that supports this. And really, the way that it's handled and the people who push it are people who they're doing this for a scam. They're doing this for money. They're doing this for power, and you can't trust those kinds of people. They might be onto something sometime, but most of the time they're not. So
Yeah, be careful, guys. And I just want to echo what Subsidian just said before we conclude. Make sure that whenever you see a story in the news about positive interactions with people that have autism, make sure you share them around. Make sure you try to convince people that, hey, this is a good example of what I would like somebody to treat me like if I were to have something embarrassing like this happen to me in a public place. I'd really appreciate if people didn't assume that there's something what's the word? There's not that there's something wrong with me. It's just that there's something that I did wrong, and instead just assume that what I'm trying to tell you is the truth, that I want to try and make as calm and civil an environment as I can for my benefit and for everybody else's benefit. Because that's constantly what's going through our minds. We're constantly embarrassed by these things that we have no control over, and we just want to just that little bit of an effort in terms of trying to accept us and trust that we're telling the truth. It'll have such great therapeutic effects. So please, guys, if you're going through stuff like that where people aren't really buying into the fact that you might have or that you do have autism, just present these things to them. Say, hey, I'm not trying to lie. I'm doing the absolute best that I can. Just give me a break. Anyways, that'll do it for this extra long show. I've had a great time doing the show. I'm not complaining. I'm glad that it went this long. I just want to do a couple things as usual before we sign out. First of all, we didn't get around to it this week just because we've had Subsidian on and we wanted to dedicate as much time to him and having him talk. But usually what we do on the show is a mailbag segment. So if you have a question regarding the main topics that we discuss on the show or something completely different, something that's specific to you, we'd love to hear from you so that you can be a part of the mailbag segment. All you have to do to be a part of that segment is use the email that you see on screen now, maxderrat@yahoo.ca, all one word. Send it there, and we get back to you guys pretty quickly, believe it or not. And also, we didn't have time for it this week, but if you want to have a live question discussed on the show, you can send it in using the hashtag differentlywired, all one word, on Twitter. Or if you want to guarantee that your question gets read out on the show, all you have to do is send in a super chat. The super chat function is at the very bottom of the live chat box. You just click on the $ there and you can send in however much you want, how much you can. All the money that you send in goes back towards the show, making it happen, making it productive, and growing it so that we can eventually achieve our collective goal of world domination and the establishment of a Simpsons-kin ethno-state. No, I'm kidding. That's just a joke from Discord. Anyways, I want to thank John, even though he had to take off early. We always appreciate the insight that he provides. And I want to thank our special guest, Subsidian. Subsidian, before we let you go, I'm going to put up the Triple S Gaming YouTube channel.
Can I shamelessly self-promote here for a quick second?
You could just self-promote. There doesn't have to be, there's no element of shame
Oh, okay. Well,
That-
that's good. So I don't have to use the whip then. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So we've got E3 coverages basically starting right after this show. We're going to be going into a live show on our channel over at the Triple S League. We're going to be talking about in just a little bit here. We're going to be talking about all the stuff that we're going to see at the show this year. We're going to be talking about specifically about Cyberpunk. We're going to be talking Death Stranding. We're going to be talking Borderlands, some other stuff like that. We are a gaming news channel. We come with a ton of gaming news and a lot of inside info, including another one of our predictions that we made from a leak that we had well over 6 months ago that has also just been announced in the last few hours. So hurrah for being right yet again.
Whoa! Is it a release date? Is it a release date? I didn't hear about this.
No, it was concerning the Borderlands 2 content that is getting put out that's crossing over into the Borderlands 3 release.
Okay.
Great stuff.
I guess
Great stuff.
I guess we'll just
have some info on Cyberpunk and Death Stranding though. So I mean, if you want to come by, probably you might hear something cool there too.
Yeah, maybe like and subscribe. Share the videos. That'd be good.
Share the video around. Talk to your friends a little bit.
Yeah, that little novel you working on? Okay. Don't you have a podcast going live in a couple hours?
Yeah, we have a podcast going live in a little over an hour. So
all right, cool.
Hop on by for that too.
If you want to hear all the latest news on Cyberpunk 2077, E3 coming up, Borderlands, all that great stuff, make sure you go over to their channel and check it out. I can't recommend their stuff highly enough, guys. They're very thorough with their job, with their work and their research. Subsidian, thank you so much again. That'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Max Derrat, and until we do this again next week, have a lovely, lovely day. Oh, and stay yellow. Bye-bye.